Hello there, my name is Laminjai and this is the news show. Thank you for being there. My guest today will be Ahmad Jite, but before that and all of the things we have for you, I will look at the newspapers. We will begin with the Standard newspaper. Their lead story is on Esa Fall, that's the lead counsel of the TRRC. In a court, Jammeh should be tried for crimes against humanity. Dabo says God already ordained him president. Paul says 78% of Gambians want economic to leave. IMF to give the Gambia over $720 million. UDP now tells Barrow disenfranchised diasporans at your own peril. Gambia should call a national security conference. PPP partners with Senegal's ANC party. 2 bodies recovered by seaside. Body of Gambian killed in France to be repatriated. According to the Standard today, the lead counsel at the Truth Commission has propounded that former President Yahya Jammeh should be tried for crimes against humanity for murders and gross human rights abuses he has been accused of during his 22-year rule. In an impassioned closing statement at the end of the Commission's public hearings on Friday afternoon, Fall, who had distinguished himself as both a prosecutor and defender in high-profile cases at the International Criminal Court and elsewhere, argued that at least 214 murders occurred in the Gambia attributed to Jammeh and his forces in addition to enforced disappearances. UDP leader Ousainou Darboe has said God has ordained him president and that his victory in December presidential election is a certainty. Darboe was speaking at a mass rally there in Buford on Saturday. Poll says 78% of Gambians want economic to leave. The latest Afrobarometer poll has reported that at least almost 8 in 10 Gambians, 78%, want the ECOWAS military intervention in the Gambia to leave the country, up 28% from 2018. IMF, that's the International Monetary Fund, will also give the Gambia $14 million, that's over $720 million, to help meet the country's financing needs and support the post-pandemic recovery. So according to the National Assembly member for Serekunda West, he has warned the government against disenfranchising Gambians abroad in the upcoming election, saying they are a vital constituency. Madi Sise, a UDP lawmaker, accused the Barrow government of showing tepid interest reforming the electoral laws that would enable Gambians abroad to take part in the elections because they are perceived as opposition sympathizers. Also, the Standard is reporting that 2 bodies have been, the police have confirmed that 2 bodies have been recovered near Nyomi Island village of Jinyak. In confirming the incident, police spokesman Superintendent Laminjai told the Standard Evening that we can confirm that to you that a boat left the Senegalese village of Jero on the 22nd of May 2021 for fishing. It capsized on Friday, and the bodies of Abubakar John, 23, and Babukar Njai, 42, were recovered in Jinak seaside. Let's see, Foroya newspaper, they are reporting that interim report shows Gambia grappling with food deficiency. TRRC ends, of course, last Friday. They ended their public hearings there. DLEAG seizes half a ton of suspected cannabis. Let's see. Okay. IEC will not conduct diaspora voter registration. The Independent Electoral Commission has on Friday, 28 May 2021, informed the media that based on the existing laws, diaspora general voter registration will not be conducted. The Drug Law Enforcement Agency of the Gambia has busted and seized at least half a ton of suspected cannabis during the weekend, said DLEAG's spokesperson Usman Seriba on Sunday. We'll leave it at that for the newspapers. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
TAF Africa Global is the first and biggest private estate developer in the Gambia and present in 7 other African countries. We take pride in leading innovation in all spheres of real estate sector in the Gambia and beyond. As such, we are launching the development of the first smart and modern office and retail towers in the Gambia called TAF Twins. The TAF Twins is located in the heart of the Kanifing institutional area and 10 minutes drive away from Banjul. TAF Twins is designed to have 5 floors of office spaces ranging from 50 square meters to over 1,000 square meters with 2 elevators, central air conditioning, 24 hours electricity and water supply, with the ground floor reserved for banking, supermarket, restaurant and coffee shop. For your bookings and reservations, please call now on 376-2333 or 776-2333. Thank you.
Welcome back. My guest is Ahmad Jite, of course, staunch or strong NPP supporter. He's back in the country, helping his party there ahead of the election in December. And yesterday there was a big, conversion in the party. The former UDP and APRC member Bujajo. Remember, Bujajo was actually the one who contested against President Barrow when he was vying for the role of opposition of flag bearer of UDP back in 2016. He lost to Barrow. He was in UDP and later left and joined APRC. I interviewed him actually. I think today is the 13th day. 13 days ago was when I interviewed him, and he said he was a free agent. He doesn't belong to any political party. And then this development yesterday, he's now an NPP supporter. Ahmad was there, and he will take us through that. Mr. Jite, thank you very much, my nephew, for coming.
You're very welcome, and thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
You were among those NPP officials who visited Mr. Jaju at his house. How did this happen, the issue of you going to his house and him accepting or agreeing to your offer of being an NPP supporter?
I mean, as you are aware, political cycle or election cycle has started in this country. But before I get into that, let me say salam to all of you that are watching, wherever you are, whether you're with me or you're against me when it comes to your views. This is, again, democracy. We are in an election cycle. Voter registrations have started. And, as you're aware, people are going to people that they think are influential and are able to gather votes for parties to invite them to join parties. I particularly was only aware at the 11th hour that there is a program at Brikama Misra, which is under the Brikama North constituency. And I was told by Honorable Minister of Information, Ibrahim Asila, and I went there. But I understood that the back and forth discussion was between Bujaju and her sister, who is Ami Fabure. Ami Fabure, as you know, was born and brought up in Brikama, Minister of Agriculture. Yes. And they are close friends, and they're also relatives, and they've been having that discussion. And Bu's response was very good, and I'm happy because he came with a lot of people. Some from UDP.
How many people?
I mean, I would say at least 200.
At least 200 people?
Yes.
I didn't see that. I only saw Bujaji.
Yeah, so what happened was the program, actually, there were meetings. Yes, where the picture I showed you was in his room. That was in the sitting room, where you had only, I think, the 4 ministers, Bujaju's elder brother, his wife, his adopted mother, the one that brought him up, and myself and my friend, and a few other, NPP officers, Ramusabali. So they were the only people in there to just have kind of a little bit of a discussion. But we left thereafter to a huge meeting, a big rally that was held in Brikama, Misra. I couldn't wait because I had other engagements. I was there, took a few photos, and then Boo didn't actually speak in my presence to officialize his acceptance to join President Barrow at the meeting in my presence.
How was that meeting that you went to in Misra?
It was good. I was very impressed with the turnout, especially the ladies, girls. I think the program was organized by ladies, an organization in Brikama, and there was also a club from Buffalo that attended. But it was very, very colorful. There was this lady who spoke, and her speech was very, very impressive. A young lady, and she, I was surprised that I wasn't the only one who is following President Adama Barrow's development activities in this country. She impressively outlined a lot of things that the president does, and she also told people to vote for our party because we have a lot of things in the pipeline for the Gambians, should they give us the opportunity for the next 5 years.
Don't you think she was just being excited? You said she outlined a lot of development projects that are being carried out by the president. And if you talk to some people, the president's critics, what they will tell you is maybe what the president has been able to do, perform a little, well, has to be with roads. You don't have a good economy.
It's not true that we don't have a good economy. So before the president, but the cost of living is not. It's not necessarily an indication. It might, but it's not necessarily an indication that we have bad economy. When you go to Dubai, I mean, there are things are very expensive in Dubai. It does not in any way mean Dubai's economy is bad. But let me go back to the lady that you think might have been excited. Well, as far as I understand from development-oriented experts, roads and electricity are two fundamental foundations that for anyone to move forward, for any serious government, for any serious entity, you need to have these two in place before you move forward. So road is not just road, and people are just not just fair. The economy was so bad when President Adama Barrow came to power. I mean, according to the government, the coalition government, when Jammeh left, we had less than 2 weeks of reserves, and today it's been improved. The interest rate from banks to lenders or to people that would take loan is reduced significantly, and you have a very good road network in places that were really suffering. So we have a lot of development activities, and the lady actually did point out something that was very impressive, and that is the reason why perhaps crime rates moved up a bit. Well, statistically, there are a lot of arguments to that. But
when you talk about that, the problems, you just mentioned the issue of the crime rate. I found that a little confusing. The IGP is saying crime is actually not going up, according to their data, their statistics. The president addressed the issue saying there is an upsurge, meaning it is increasing. So who is misleading the Gambian people here? Let's say who perhaps misunderstood the situation a bit. Who misunderstood?
Yes, I might put it that way, not who is misleading Gambians. Now, when you ask the Inspector General of Police about the crime rates, probably, I don't know whether you saw the document that the police put together. So murder is crime, burglary is crime, there are reckless driving and causing accident or killing people is considered crime, and you also have theft, you have rape. These are all crimes. So probably the Inspector General of Police might be talking about a single one of these outlined, or these different classes of crime that has been committed in the country.
But that will be incompetence on the part of the IGP.
I don't think so.
Because what people are looking at is crime in total,
altogether.
So not just looking at just murder. But people are saying that the entire crime situation of this country has deteriorated. So the IGP should be in a position to tell us whether crime is going up. This is a very simple question. It is going down.
Again, we were looking at the figures. Yes, was it today? A newspaper reported that someone was found hanging in a compound of someone. So, to a general public, that may be considered murder.
No, that's not murder.
No. So you're understanding. No, that is exactly what I'm coming to. So when somebody kills him or herself, and you've heard about that, they put that under the category that would be otherwise referred to as, you're in your own statement, suicide. But to some people, that is part of crime rate.
No, but in
if somebody, I've never
seen Gambians putting the issue of suicide into that box of murder or crime.
There was an individual found in the forest. There was a dead body found in the forest, and the news was spreading, and that dead body that was found in the forest was again added to this whole media frenzy of people. Now let me finish. Yes. If you found, or if you find a decayed body in a forest, how do you conclude that it's not suicide? The person might take 100 or 500 milligrams of paracetamol and just walk in the street so the person can die. The person might not. Let me finish. Let me finish. The person might have gone to check on the palm wine, or go to harvest palm fruits and fall down and die, and people have not found the person for a number of days now.
How can someone kill himself and then put himself in a bag? That's clearly not possible. That was retrieved from the forest, the bush, that was clearly what he was found in a bag.
There is a different. We are talking about two different cases, because this one I am talking about, in fact, that individual was found almost half decayed and on a black shirt. So we've seen those instances. Now the other aspect of the situation is, murders or crimes that are committed inside people's houses, like the one that occurred in Mandinaring, which actually was a very huge issue. And a lot of people, again, were blaming the security for that. And many people are also attributing that to, insecurity in the country, which I definitely disagree.
So now, Ahmad, I know you and I had this conversation, but now, let's get back to the question. The question has to do with the president saying crime is going up, and the IG saying crime is going down. I mean, whose versions?
Okay, that's very simple. Personally, at personal level, what I have seen is reports of a lot of crimes being committed by Gambians. A lot of reports.
You don't think it is?
No. You'll have to listen. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Now, as an educated person, Just like when somebody is perhaps found killing, an individual with knife, what happens is you are a suspected killer, you are a suspected murderer, but you are not, under the law or in the face of the law, a murderer until proven before the court of law, competent court of law. Now when you tell me, because the reason why I'm saying this is, we have seen people, which is part of crime, when you get into someone else's house, broke the person's window, you went and, wherever you went, the individual came out, went to look for food, you kidnapped the person, took the person to a graveyard, beat the hell out of the individual, taped the person and whatever, and then in the morning people found that individual, that is considered very serious crime, because that is kidnap. That is a heinous crime. We've seen that. And we realize at the end of the day that as in fact that never occurred. That never happened. We've also seen people who came out to say people attacked them and took their mobile phones from them. No, this is a crime. I'm not mentioning any name, but I am telling you.
That's Keksane, clearly. That's what you are talking about.
So these are examples.
This is just an isolated case.
Well, you are not. It is not an isolated case. We have a young guy that is from Guinea-Bissau. Yes. He claimed that, he came here with money and his visa and passport. He was traveling. Why now? So now it's from one isolated case to two isolated cases. Now, okay, I'm coming. The third one. Yes. We've seen a Lebanese guy who claimed that thieves broke into his house.
Are you saying that too?
And so let me finish. And took away $16 million worth of materials. Now,
not necessarily material, but this is money.
Money and it's whichever that is. Yes. For a sensible individual, there are a lot of question marks to that, or those claims.
But because the police are investigating.
Yeah, they are. The police are investigating. This, but now you cannot
say that it's false.
But you cannot also say it is true, because there is nothing conclusive that comes out of it. It could be a self-made robbery.
I think we have to make this very clear.
Okay. So if probably the IGP, because there are a lot of information that would come out to the public, and there are a lot that, there are a lot of intelligence and knowledge that the Inspector General of Police has at his disposal that you and I do not. And you don't go and ask them, they do not give it to the public. Let's say the Inspector General of Police, there were a lot of people that died, let's say in 2020, somebody hit someone on the head with a pistol, somebody stabbed someone and all of that. Now the Inspector General and his people, pathologists, experts, will have to look at those things to determine whether they are murder or not. Because murder, there's a legal definition of what murder is, and the police go by that. If the Inspector General of Police is briefed by his experts that this number of cases of murder in 2020 is actually, especially for this first quarter, from January to April or January to whatever month, last year this time, you have more people or less people killed than this year, then the Inspector General of Police has that information and he has the right to tell you that the crime is actually not and they increase.
No, but that wasn't what people are looking at.
What
people are looking
at. So we are not. I'm not talking about what people are looking at. I'm looking at what the realities are.
No, but the Gambian people want to know from the authorities whether crime as a whole, not just the issue of murder, but crime as a whole. I mean, that includes murder, theft, whichever crime that people feel uncomfortable with. That's what they want to know.
Okay, so Gambians
now,
want to know.
When the IG is talking, what you are saying, you are only singling out murder. If the IG was referring to the issue of murder in this country, that would have been easy. It would have been said, okay, on the issue of murder, this is how much people were killed in this year compared to this year, and then he can make his conclusions out of that.
Okay,
but what I am saying is, the IG spoke in general parlance to say that crime is going down. His boss, his principal came, the president came and said it is rising, it is going up. That is what the president said. So what I am saying, still my question, you have not been able to do much about it. We've spent almost 20 minutes.
You are the one not listening to me.
Who should we believe here?
So again, I will come back to
this government. Who should we believe here?
I will come back to the same position.
Okay. Then I think
now, if you again talk about crimes increase or decrease, for uneducated person, someone that is educated, there are a lot of things I'll be looking at. Remember, there were a lot of insinuations here that maternal mortality was so many and was very high in this country. In fact, it's very high. This is what people have been saying since Barrow came to power for the past 3 years. There has been a lot of talks. Now, statisticians at the Gambia Bureau of Statistics clearly tells us in the report that there was nothing conclusive about it. Well, null hypothesis for statisticians that are watching. The study was conducted. There wasn't enough evidence to say that maternal mortality was actually on the rise or has increased between 2013 and 2019-2020. These are people that are apolitical. You have United Nations, you have European Union, you have USAID, you have United Nations development, whatever. You know about the program I'm talking about, the survey that was conducted. Now, who is lying and who is telling the truth? And in fact, they said, you know, infant mortality at childbirth actually reduced significantly. Significantly. So people would say, go and tell you things outside without any material evidence, without anything to base it on. I am beyond that now. As an educated young person, I don't just see an individual killed here and you multiply that in 100 million WhatsApp groups or 1,000 WhatsApp groups and say crime is on the increase. I know one thing.
The president said
I know one thing. Well, I mean,
the president
the president might be privy to what I am not. If the president said the crime is on the increase, I actually have not seen him say that in his report.
I did not.
Now, I would have actually looked at, even if the crime is on the increase as we speak, because there is another dimension to that. I was speaking to a very, very, sound-minded young man, a statistician, working for Gambia Bureau of Statistics, and I've asked him for us to collaborate and look at some of these things from a very, very realistic point of view. Forget about politics. Crime affects everybody. It doesn't know who NPP is, no UDP or anybody or DOI. But what we need to know too is that the media presence has changed things a lot. There might be an increase in rape. That there might be. And, how do you stop rape? That is not much of a government's problem. That is more of the problem of society. Because we have a culture.
Problem of society.
We have not from the context in which I am speaking. Because if somebody now, there are situations that will be an exception, and you will have to allow me to discuss.
Of course.
There are people whose uncles and cousins will rape them.
Yes.
But the parents of the two
Yes.
will not take the matter to police.
Yes.
You understand that? I mean, government now is separated from society because government has the responsibility to deal with those cases only if they are reported to them. Now, society decides to separate government from society and they deal with the matter. They just reprimand the individual and the rape victim goes on with that mental torture. So now I believe that is changing. A lot more people are reporting rape because we have a lot of young activists, especially gender activists, and I applaud them. You know, the Fatu Kamaras, your boss, Fatu Tures, Mama Linger Sar. There is this Bojang girl, I forgot her name, Matida Dafes, the Umi Suso Quintes. You know, young people are coming now. They are very, very much, yes, in the open. So this might lead to the increase in the number of rape reported. It might not necessarily mean that the actual rape case, the number of rape cases has actually increased. You look at these things, you know, from a very,
you are being very cautious when it comes to some of these facts.
I am being very cautious. That is what educated people do.
I can see that.
That is what we do.
But not when your president comes out to say that this is
so
the situation.
I mean, okay, so let's agree. Let's agree.
Away from that.
Yes.
Away from that. I know election is fast approaching, that the voter registration started just 2 days ago. But before we get to that, I want us to talk about, because clearly December might spell or be the end of NPP in power or President Barrow in power, because clearly you have competitors that are quite willing and ready to take over this country, and they're working really hard. Take UDP for example. They are doing a tremendous job in terms of reaching out to people, in terms of campaigning, in terms of trying to get the buy-in of the voters. And they had a very big rally on Saturday in Brufut, where their leader vowed that he was going to win come December, that his win. In fact, the Standard reported it today that his victory is ordained by God himself.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable, at ease at all?
I am very, very comfortable. Look, I mean, for those that have not been monitoring or following political landscape in this country for the past 2 or 3 elections, would be surprised. I mean, since 1996, Dabo has been talking and he's been saying that he's going to win the elections. By the way, tell me a political party whose leader will stand on a platform. Even my party, campaign said they will form government in 2021. Dr. Sisi said he's going to be the next president. Dr. Lamin Bojan, the general, said he's going to be the next president. I mean, Kitabu, my great Kitabu, said he's going to be the president in 2021. So, that's normal. No political party leader would tell you, no, we are just here.
But this is a serious politician, a serious party.
A serious politician with a serious party that has a track record of failure after promises for 4 consecutive elections.
The realities are always different.
Aren't
you mindful of that?
Man, well, as far as I am concerned,
because for example, the 2011 or the 2001 reality is going to be
so again, uncle, we never know what the future holds, okay? But people, project and talk about future based on the historical facts. We cannot discuss matters. No, I'm not backtracking. I'm not backtracking.
But I am telling you. You said nobody can really predict.
Yes, I am telling you. You are not listening. Okay, let me finish. Okay, so we talk about the past and connect it and predict a possible future. You understand? Now, Dabo has said, in fact, with even much more confidence that he was going to win elections in the past than this time around. And as far as I am concerned, Ousainou Dabo would have had a better chance winning against Yaya Jammeh than Adama Barrow, because it was an open secret that a lot of Gambians didn't like Jammeh, because it was obvious to Gambians that your brother will go to work today and you're scared that he or she will not return. It was obvious that a journalist will be so scared that they wouldn't even dare report issues that are affecting the society. We all know that in our hearts, even if you are scared to talk about it. Even under those circumstances, people knew Dabo is not an alternative. Let's suffer under Jammeh. Dabo, no, it's not an alternative. You compare that man winning against Barrow, that is 100% impossible. And I'm telling you this, we are all speaking, and the good thing in this, 21st century is that we have media coverage. There are a lot of young people who understood that Dabo is going to be the worst dictator of this country if you ever offer him a position. What do you base that on? When students in this country demonstrated in April 10 and 11, Yaya Jammeh didn't compromise with them. He didn't listen. He didn't dialogue with them. He asked them to be shot at. There were teachers who were supposed to be posted at the provinces. They said they needed their allowances. Otherwise, they were going to demonstrate. Ousainou Darboe, as the vice president, didn't even listen to them. He didn't even want a dialogue with them. He made it very clear. It's on the front page. You either go or I will sack you and bring retired teachers. Those young people are aware. That's how is it? That is where it begins. Different from the act of a madman. That is where it begins. It begins with, go home or I'm going to fire you. And we know even President Barrow fires people. When they don't do certain things. He did not. You cannot vilify Darboe. No. I mean, you cannot vilify him for that. You see, nurses, Gambian nurses, were not happy with situations in our hospitals. They went and organized a press conference. This was less than a month or 2 months ago. When they organized a press conference and said they were going to have a sit-down strike, they went ahead and did that conference and said it was actually a private practitioner. We knew about that. They were invited to go and sit down with the country's highest civil servant, and that is the Secretary General and head of the civil servant. Nuwar Touré invited them. They listened to them. And leaders have to be, they have to be able to restrain themselves. I'm talking about the dictatorship or dictator. And Darboe invited the entire UDP to his house because somebody insulted him on a platform, on a political platform. When he invited everybody, he launched his attack on Fatoumata Jawara, and after that, his first cousin, Siaka Jatta, who is a political advisor to the president, he made it very clear on that platform. Somebody that is supposed to be a leader of 2-point-something million people, some of them are very stubborn. You must be someone that is so patient to be able to handle, because ning say tinya nombe tinya. And I can also tell you that a lady, Mansa Sumare, former driver of the president, his younger sister was insulted in Ousainou Darboe's group. Did what she was not supposed to do. She insulted Darboe. I'm giving you an example.
Darboe taking the lady to the police. What we know is even the president, if people insult him, sit and then insult people.
How many? I wish you tell that to Mamadou Sabally here.
Yes, but I'm saying,
I wish you were here. I was watching with Sabally.
No,
wait, Uncle, listen.
Yes.
Uncle, yes. You have to let me learn.
Yes.
I wish your memory served you in the same way when Mamadou Sabally sat here and said some very nasty things against the person of President Adama. Again, let me move forward. Moving forward, like you said, everybody is duty bound. Like the
Of
state
course,
is
if
the
people
state is
insult
duty
you and you are not
the
happy.
state is duty bound. Now I'm coming. You know, Yakumba Jete stood in Gunjur to President Adama Barrow. He insulted Adama Barrow. In fact, involved Adama Barrow's mother. That was where Yankuba's issue came, and the president, I mean, you know, the issue of, I mean, misunderstanding and all of that came. Usainu was at that platform. After Yakumba spoke, Usainu came out to even launch more attacks on Barrow. He never had the time to admonish Yakumba against being, you know, disrespectful to elders, especially a statesperson. But that is not the only issue. Dabo is a man that is full of hate and anger. It's not going to be given to him to rule.
Now, let me ask. He's never going to rule. But what we have seen, at least us, the journalists who are out there, is that this man has supporters, massive number.
So when you let me finish. There is no space that will take more people than the Gambian stadium at Bakau. Yes. Gambia has no single space, empty space, that will take as much people as this. Yes. The largest number of people you will get in any football field or in any gathering, any space in this country will be 20,000. Buffer zone perhaps 20,000. Yes. Now, UDP is 22 years old. Yes. And it has been a prominent political party. Yes. So when a UDP rally happens, I am even saying they should be ashamed to come and show people about 10, 20,000 of a population of 2 million people. UDP by now, any meeting that is less than 200,000 people, Usainu Dabo should not attend.
I have someone who is on the line.
Now let me finish. Let me finish. I will have to finish.
Just hang
let me finish first. Let me finish first. Yes. Okay? So if you have a population of 2 point something million and you will have almost 900,000 eligible voters, and somebody comes to a meeting with 5,000 and you say, you know, or 10,000 and you say that person is going to win an election.
But UDP leader's popularity is obvious. You could see that, I mean, if NPP is popular and you people have crowd, you have supporters. This party equally has supporters.
It's not only the crowd that we are. It's not the only. It's not the crowd. It's not just the crowd that we look at. Yes. We said when division occurred, there was an election. An election happened for us to see head on who is better than who. So
just hang in there. Just hang in there. Mr. Sariam Maro, my very good friend there in US. I see you calling. Looks like you want to take part in our interview.
Yes, Mr. Njai and my brother Ahmed Jide. So I'm quite following you guys' discussion, and I think it's more of a comment to my brother there, Ahmed. I know the political environment is very intense, and the spirits are very, very high. But the last comment that I listened to Jite, that triggers me to call him live on the line and talk to him a little bit regarding Mr. Dabo. Okay, I know, but Jite is a very passionate supporter of the president, which is great. But I think somehow I'm concerned about the rhetoric saying that Dabo is somehow intense and no one would give him the country because of the rhetoric that he's not intense. I mean, everybody's passionate, and we just got to be careful about those type of comments because they can be misconstrued. At the end of the day, after the 4th or after December 5th, we all gonna be Gambians. We're gonna shake hands as one family. And despite the political rhetoric, I am against violence. I am against rhetoric that's gonna divide Gambians. And we all need to be mindful about that. At the end of the day, if President Barrow has been re-elected, he's gonna be the president for the entire Gambia. If Ousseynou Dabo is elected, Ousseynou Dabo will be the president for the entire Gambia, despite people who voted for him or who voted against him. His sole objective and his whole role should be to unite the country and move the country forward. So let's be mindful. Let's be mindful. I know we are all passionate, and Ahmed Jide knows me. I'm a good brother of his. He knows that. But I am somehow concerned, and some of us who hasn't come in and declare our support for either party has to come in and say, hey, let's tone down the rhetoric down a little bit because we are all Gambians. Because Ahmed was once part of UDP, and he did. Our democracy is very fragile. And now I know the political situation is very intense, but let's be careful. Let's be careful. At the end of the day, both men will need to unite the country and move the country forward.
Thank you.
And I listen
Thank you.
about the murder rates and all that, but that's my contribution, Mr. Guy. That's my contribution.
Of course, you are a security analyst, an expert in that area.
Good. So
I think Sariang is gone. So yeah. So
No, I'm here. I'm here, Lamin. I'm here. Yes.
yes. So just hang in there. I'll maybe later bring you again in the discussion. But then let me ask you this then. If NPP loses the election, what is going to happen?
well, I mean, that is very highly unlikely, but as the country's constitution, requires or enjoins, elections and election cycles are always very intense.
Yes.
He is from the United States.
Yes.
I'm sure the last November election he was there, and I wish he had the same energy and same concern for me as he, for Sabali's comments that will sit here and call President Barrow and his supporters or
You are
colleagues.
going to Sabali
Well,
again.
you will have to let me speak.
Go on,
You have to let me
Yes,
speak.
of course.
A gang of squirrels. This is very disrespectful.
Yes.
This is very degrading.
Yes.
And it's very hateful.
Yes.
But I wish he had called to say the same thing. One thing I can tell you is,
Yes.
every single day you watch platforms that are sympathetic to the UDP camp,
All they do is
there would
insult.
not be a day that they will not call Adama clueless, a dictator. If I call Dabo a dictator, how is that, how should that be a concern? I believe he's a dictator. He would make the worst dictator in Gambia's history.
You are going
and
back
I
there.
stand by
You
that.
are
Yes.
doubling down
And
on
that I am not backing down. If Dabo wins the election, he wants to rule the
so
Gambia.
let's get
So
this
when you said when NPP loses,
Yes.
I'm not even going to that because they are not losing by the grace of God.
You are not losing.
By the grace of Allah, we are not losing.
In any battle, there are two things. In
Yes.
any battle,
Yes.
win. It's either you win or you lose.
In our battle, you win. You
That's-
don't lose.
that's all you
Go-
have in
all
your-
we
in
do
your
is
book.
win. Yes. So we are not losing. I am very, very sure.
Now, one thing
that-
you've also raised, you
Yeah.
are saying, because clearly, I think there was an advice, sort of, if you like, from Mr. Maron there.
You see,
but then I'm coming. What you are saying is, you are also justified. You are saying, accusing UDP of also doing the same thing.
They are,
That is
they are worse.
insult.
In fact, check your Facebook. They'll be insulting me. Check your Facebook. Just go there. Just check the comments. All they will be doing is insulting. Sarian wouldn't go to this place he's watching to go and tell people, I'm sure he's watching this. He should have tell people to not insult Jite. Because that's what it is.
But
and
you
me,
don't know
and you see
whether
me,
people are
and you see
insulting
me
you or not.
insulting, they say, but I don't insult. I may be very passionate. I may be very pushy with my agenda, and that's my nature.
Yes.
I am very, 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 I don't want this to be a back and forth issue.
Yes.
So if you may not, if you don't mind, if you don't mind,
I think I'll just give
no,
him,
let me.
just give him.
But
a
you're not
minute.
letting me finish
Of
my
course,
talk.
you have all the next
There are a
20
lot of
minutes.
things we can talk about. That
We have the next 20
you
minutes.
and I had a discussion about this.
Yes.
The last thing on my agenda that I would like to bring forth is always Ousainou Darboe. Ousainou Darboe is just an ordinary person like any other person.
Clearly,
looking for a
if
position.
you look at the political situation of this country, you can deny it as much as you want, as Esa Fall would say. Deny as much as you want. But the truth of the matter is that this contest is going to be between these two avatars, these two UDP and that of the NPP.
Yeah, so
you can be in denial all you want. In this election.
You have asked me whether I am concerned about UDP winning. I say no, because of the candidate. And I have to say why I feel the candidate is not a winning candidate. If somebody feels that that is an attack or should be concerned about those,
I don't want this.
Hussein is not a tense, and that is. Let me finish, Uncle. You are UDPU.
You are accusing me of being UDP.
On a more serious note,
find that comforting.
On a more serious note,
yes.
Individuals are the ones that decide for a nation when given responsibility, like President Adama Barrow.
Yes.
And I am giving you instances where a sitting head of state is confronted with situations, and they were handled in a way that a democratic leader, a man with ability to restrain self, a man that is able to understand and differentiate between passing and office, how they handle matters. I have put that bare before the public, that Adama Barrow was confronted by these situations and he accepted. Darboe, on the other hand, was in authority and sometimes was not even, and his reactions were like a primary school child that loses a game of whether chess or what.
Now,
so I am saying, if a person can call an entire press conference, an entire political party, top echelon, and hold all the supporters because somebody insulted his person on a platform, if that individual has resources at his disposal, he would have done the unthinkable. That is what I'm saying, and that is my conviction. And there are hundreds of thousands of Gambians outside who have the same conviction. And I am not scared, I'm not ashamed to put those out to the public.
Now, the election, is it a do-or-die affair for NPP? Because clearly, I know the president has said that they will rather choose death over same, your camp, that is the NPP camp, and even warned his officials, his top aides, NPP aides, to make sure that when they go out there, they work to ensure his victory. Is it a do-or-die affair for you?
Well, I mean, of course it's a do-or-die affair, but that depends on your interpretation of do-or-die affair. Not like the ones that were brought out and disseminated very, very dishonestly. The president said, "I'd rather die than lose the elections." And these are very common saying. They are customary statements. In fact, from his maternal land, Fullers are very, very, that is a very proud, historical statement that the griots will relate to Fullers. Ye saya la fuloya ni malo, fuloye saya ta malo tuje. Ika sile ya foko nyi examo kany, nga fa wale fisa nga fail. Wala nyi footballo, nga nyi kopo, nga fa wale fisa modoli mbute.
Yes.
So these are common statements. Why would you interpret the president's statement in a very wild and so dishonest way? And that is the problem we had. So it's a do or die.
Who did that?
Well, the opponents.
Who?
Including you. So,
myself?
Yes.
Okay.
So let's go forward. So yes, it's a do or die for us. We want to maintain the president, Adama Barrow, in power. And how do we do that? Is by going to Gambians, talking to them, selling the president's agenda to them, telling them what he has already done, which I am doing, and very successfully. In my home village, I had a meeting. I wish, you know, you attend that meeting. And I am, again from here, I'm going back to my region.
I just hope you are not bluffing.
Well, I mean, we will see that on the 5th of December. And I tell everybody that. Whether I'm bluffing or not, we'll see that on the 5th of December.
Now, let's also talk about one thing. I think this is very important because what I have seen, for example, when I traveled to the PPP Congress in Bikamaba, I saw a lot of NPP people there. NPP supporters who came, at least 8 NPP vehicles were there to come help the other camp, that is the Kevajalo camp, to win that election. Because I mean, the feeling is that this is the guy who is kind of leaning towards the party, and as a result, NPP also has to reciprocate that fraternal bond. But the claims that are out there is that NPP is plotting to work with APRC, and just yesterday you put Bujaju, who was APRC. So in terms of those claims, is that what you are looking at? Is that what is the election so important for the NPP to the extent that NPP can work with APRC? Because I had both I am a reconciliation
number one, I do not sit on the table where these discussions happen. Official, I've never heard, or I've heard, of course, like you've heard, but I've never been on the table where NPP and APRC had a discussion. But even if they do, what is wrong with it?
You think that is normal?
Well, it's very normal. Now you'll have to be very, objective here.
That's what I'm trying to do.
You'll have to be very objective.
Yes.
If NPP, whose leader is President Adama Barrow, will establish a commission to bring to justice culprits, people that violated the laws and the rights of the Gambian people. I'm talking about people that violated.
Yes.
Some of them not even APRC, of course, they would have done under the authority and on the instructions of the former president.
Yes.
99% of APRC people are ordinary Gambians like you. They have not committed anything. Their support for Yahya Jammeh, even today, this is at personal level.
Yes.
I don't quote me on this officially because I have not had any. But Ahmad Jite,
yes,
a member of the NPP,
yes,
we have no problems working with APRC members.
Uncle,
no. You will have to wait. Let me finish.
Go on.
You do not cut me. Let me finish. Whether you are an APRC, PPP, GDC, or anywhere, if you kill Solo Sunday, you'll be held responsible. If you can, you'll be held responsible. That's the law. But as I said, Rambo, Fabakary Tombong, who did they kill?
Okay, let me.
They have not killed anyone.
Because these supporters that you are talking about, these are the people who still continue to bask in denial. They say, oh no, all what the TRRC has uncovered is all lies. The president never killed anybody. This man killed more than 200 Gambians. Still, these people, they have the audacity to say Jammeh never killed anybody.
Well, Jammeh,
that is what these people
they have
are
the,
saying.
They have the audacity. They might have the audacity to say Jammeh has not killed anybody, which is their right. They would have been taken to court for saying it if it were against the law. They have the right as
But how can you work
now
with
let me
people who
well,
are
let me finish now. You don't let me finish. You don't let me finish.
Go on.
You go to court. Let's look at this from a family level. You go to court. Somebody is accused of raping or murdering someone's family. But your family, the family of the accused, does not agree. The court, you take them to court, the judge sends them to jail. Yet the family of the accused still say, we believe our brother or sister is innocent.
But that doesn't make them friends of the judge. That doesn't make them friends of the judge.
Wait, let me finish. It does not make them the friend of the judge, but it does not also make them the enemy of the judge, from the judge's perspective. So, if you are an APRC member and you believe that President Adama Barrow is a viable alternative, is a good choice for this country, for this country's unity, which we believe in, they have seen him. Everything that is going on here, the TRRC, the Jana Commission, the seizure of Jammeh's properties, came under this government. Yes. I mean, we know there are APRC people who support President Barrow. Does that stop TRRC from happening? No. So there are people who might support Jammeh and they might also want some things to happen. But if they are not within the confines of the law, they do not happen. But then they are the people of APRC. Because you have a number. Any single individual living out is not good for this country. And when you talk about these killings too, I can tell you that with reconciliation in the true TRRC, there are those that would kill and will be forgiven. That is basically what is on that. Why didn't you just say, you capture them and take them to court? We want us forgive. We want to forgive each other and move on. Of course, there are those that the law will say, let them go to court and be prosecuted. We have no powers over that.
So NPP vis-a-vis President Barrow willing and ready to do that? To make sure that those who have been recommended for president pay the price?
He wouldn't have set up a commission and spend millions of dollars for its sittings and investigations and hearings, because he's the commander-in-chief. If he wants it dissolved, he wouldn't have taken it to the National Assembly to become an act. And now, the other thing that Gambians need to know, and perhaps Esa Fall and others would have, discussed in their talks, is that TRRCs, these Truth and Reconciliation Commissions are very complex situations. And in South Africa, where it started in 1994, there are still recommendations that are not implemented. In Zimbabwe, in Sierra Leone, there are still recommendations. In Nigeria, after the death of Sani Abacha, there are still recommendations that are not implemented because, sitting and giving voluntary information as evidence might not be admissible in a real court of law. Somebody voluntarily, like Kanye Bakanye, that guy said kill Korosis. I forgot the Jarab guy. I forgot him. But let's say Alaji Martin. Alaji Kanye. Alaji Kanye's voluntary information may not necessarily be admissible at the court of law when it comes to prosecution. So we are braving for a lot of issues, but what I know is the president is very, very willing. And I am a young man. I am directly affected by these killings because, Solo Sunday was a big brother.
Yes.
Solo's case was, it hit very hard at home. And of course, we want to see justice, but that is for those that commit crime. You don't kill the entire Njai Kunda because Lamin Njai commits murder. That's not what the law does. So you don't beat every APRC person because Yaya Jammeh commits murder in this country. So we are inviting the entire APRC to join us, NPP, for us to win the election.
That's clear enough. But again, that takes you back to the issue of do or die affair. But let's also talk about the issue of registration. Voter registration started, and there is a lot of issues around that. People saying foreigners are being imported to come and vote. You have been around. First of all, have you, grabbed your voter's card?
Where I come from in Kitty, it's somewhere, I think, end of June.
Yes.
So they are in the vicinity, but not yet in my own village where I'm supposed to vote. So not yet. But probably foreigners, maybe, I am one of them. That is grabbing the.
You are foreign.
And that's why, that's what I'm saying. Maybe it is foreigners like me that they are talking about. Maybe Barrow grabbed me from Canada.
I saw this breaking news saying that there should be an investigation around Ahmad Jite because your parents. Of course, I really do not want to go into some of these xenophobic comments. I saw Abubakar Siddiq Jammeh, for example, said you are a foreigner, your parents came from outside.
Abubakar's family equally are foreigners. In fact, his father's mother, Drame, historically from Casamas here. Where they come from, Sikunda. Go to Jara Sikunda and ask about the origins of those people. So, but that is not what I consider as a foreigner. The Gambia has laws. You can have, yesterday come from Guinea, come to Gambia, come from Casamas, come from Mali, come from, Fish Island, come into this country, and there are legal requirements. And people meet these legal requirements and become citizens of this country. I'm not even talking about my family.
Is that what happened in your...
Look, my brother is almost 70.
For far too
my
long.
first brother is almost 70.
Yes.
He was born here. He was, what, not Gambia? He was born in Jara Barokunda.
Yes.
Go find out. Just march, go to Jara Barokunda here. He's in Jara.
And
My
he's
brother,
70
my
years
first
old.
brother. Yeah, he's almost. My biggest brother. His first kids are my age mates. In fact, my first sister's first child is older than me. They were all born here in Jara. So these are statements I don't give relevance to. But on the issue of whether foreigners are registered or not, I think that is the job of the Independent Electoral Commission. And I believe in the competence of Mohamed Ali Unjai. He saved us when it was toughest. And I believe he is still guided by those principles of integrity, neutrality, and dignity. I believe he is going to do his job as the law requires him to do.
Of course, this one is a difficult question for me. You are my nephew, and I know that you are Gambian, but I need to ask these questions. Because people out there really want to know what is going on.
I'm okay.
That's why I asked you. But then, let's. We are fast running. Time is running out. But let me ask you one other thing. It has to do with the issue of the Gambians in the diaspora, Gambians who live abroad, because it would appear that all hope that Gambians in the diaspora will vote have been dashed. Only the few fortunate ones, the likes of yourself, for example, who can come down physically to register and then vote. These are the only people that are going to vote. What do you have to say as someone who lives in the diaspora?
So the issues I have with that is, I want it both ways, as far as I'm concerned. If I have to vote, I have to have the right to be voted for. Now, in the current constitution, and in the constitution that was drafted, if you live in the diaspora, especially if you have documents of other countries, you cannot run for president, you cannot run for National Assembly. That was one of the bases, or one of the factors that I used to reject it. But then, with this, like the current situation, I believe the new constitution, the reason why IEC was very optimistic about diaspora voting in 2021 was that there's a new electoral system that was coming, and there will be paper ballots. I may be wrong. I've never asked them. But I ask myself, these are very genuine questions to ask. If you want Gambians to vote in the diaspora, how would they vote? Which countries will you take IEC representatives to vote? And which country will you not? How would you choose? Whether you should go to Australia or not? How would you go to Canada or not? How do you base that on? I don't know. The laws, I don't know. There was no act. But even if you choose all of that, how many Gambians, for instance, live in the United States? We need a marble to vote. How do you work out that? Will you transport marbles from Gambia through the plane, maybe 10,000, 5,000, 10, 20, 50, 100,000 marbles from Banjul International Airport? You fly them to the US and Canada. How much would that cost? I am saying, I don't know. But these are questions I ask myself. So there are a lot of questions that need to be asked. And the National Assembly is the only institution that would have saved us with that. And, we've had, again, I don't want to say, but we've had Hussein Udaba saying, diaspora should vote. IEC should make sure diaspora voted. He has the majority in parliament. What did his National Assembly members do about those things? why wouldn't they sponsor a private member bill to bring it as an act of parliament to force the IEC to make sure diaspora votes? So these are genuine questions I have. I mean, I would love diaspora to vote, because as far as I'm concerned, we are very strong in the diaspora as a party.
You are very strong. People
Very,
say
very.
it is political calculation. This government is doing this deliberately. The president doesn't want the diaspora because it is considered opposition. Opposition province.
That's not true. Actually, in this country, when it comes to commitment, you see, what do they base these things on? Because tell me a single country where you have a UDP, for instance, because that is what you say is between us and UDP, and it's on that basis that I'm using UDP, not because I just want to attack. Tell me a major country in the diaspora that you have UDP and no NPP. It's not there. We have groups. In fact, we have demonstrated the best presence in the diaspora. Okay. Our launching, we have almost 30 people from the diaspora. In fact, 70.
I think it's
from
70,
the diaspora.
70
delegates from the diaspora. UDP had their congresses. We've paid our tickets. We came here to attend it. So it has never happened in this country's history.
NPP is equally strong.
Not equally, in fact, stronger.
Let me bring in Mr. Marong because we've run out of time. So I'll let him. He wants to engage you on the policy.
So here, which Marong?
Just give me
which Marong?
So
you see, before he comes, let me say something before he comes.
Yes.
The problem with this back and forth discussions.
Yes.
Is it turns out in a way that is not okay.
Yes.
Because
I'm being very mindful of, he wants to engage you on the policy front, and that is what I'm going to give.
Okay, let him go ahead.
Yes.
As long as you give me the chance to respond. That's fine.
Of course.
Okay, that's okay.
Hey, GT, thank you very much. And you're my brother, man. That's not going to be between
Exactly.
So I can guarantee you that 100%. Here's two things I wanted to ask you. And if you had the opportunity to talk to President Barrow one-on-one, we know the healthcare is depleting. It's not up to an acceptable level. Lately, we've seen crime rates went up drastically, and we've even seen the IGP on the road trying to tackle those crimes, and we have seen police, which is very commendable. Now, what will be if he gets re-elected, within the first 100 days, what would you like to see the president accomplish?
Okay.
Knowing what we know today, you've been, and I want your own.
I can talk about this.
Thank you, Mr. Maro.
Okay,
thank you very much, bro.
So on the issue of healthcare, again, there was a survey. There were a lot of.
You want to go back to demographic and health survey?
Yeah, there were a lot of surveys that were conducted. We had great achievement in a lot of areas, but a lot of challenges in other areas. Yes. Comparing 2019, 2020, and 2013. And I would like you to give me some time. Let me break this down.
Of course.
Now, again, people will say people are dying. A pregnant woman went in there and the person died. There are no gloves in the hospital. There are no medicines. These are things that people will say. Healthcare system is depleting. Yeah. Now, there are always factors. There are always, reasons and basis for things. Now, for, let's say, women dying, a lot of women dying, nobody wants women to die. But when you ask a qualified medical doctor, when someone died, when you ask them, first, let's look at how many people give birth at the RVTH a month. More than 100, 200, 300 women give birth at RVTH. In most cases, when you have 300 people giving birth, women, 2-3 women would die. Yes. In a month.
Yes.
Sometimes in fact, in Buyam Hospital, for the past 3 months, no single woman died. And almost 300 to 400 women gave birth at the Biam Hospital. The chief medical doctor there had an interview. I don't know whether with Fatu Radio or another radio. He said no single woman died at labor at Biam Hospital for the past 3 months. Not single. Now when one person goes there and that individual dies, people blame it on healthcare. And I have said this to people, and healthcare professionals have also been very, very objective with their analysis. In this country, when you get pregnant, number one, do people go to nurse? That is what they know. Do they go to healthcare personnel to see them? Do they go to visit, for their maternal, issues? No. But when the person is even pregnant, do we know whether the person has an underlying condition?
Yes.
That's another question. You have seen pregnant women that will be beaten nearly to death by their husbands. They will never report it. Yes. A lot of pregnant women will be beaten here to coma. Do they have problem during that? We don't know. The other problem we have is we have a lot of poor people in the country. Are they having the food supplements that they need? Or do they even have, time to relax? They go to the narcos or the gardens. From there, they go and fetch firewood. From there, they come and cook the food. And the man that made them pregnant is sitting at the bantaba enjoying.
So you are saying all of that.
So these are all factors. And these are all factors. And sometimes, some of these women that die during labor will prefer to go to some of these private hospitals. That's where their husbands will take them. They go there and meet these people. Some of them are only interested in money. When they are almost messed up, they pick them up from private hospitals and give them stupid referrals to RVTH. They get there, our amazing public service doctors try to help them and they die. Sometimes they are even there, they need blood. Doctors ask for blood. The husband of the wife will tell them, I'm not giving you blood. They don't want to give you blood. And government cannot buy blood from anywhere. So you have a lot of factors and conversations need to happen. Now on crime. He said the crime rate is going up.
I think
let's agree. No, that. He said, he has asked. And I didn't tell you why. Let's agree that the crime rate has gone up. Now, when this government come to power, the Barrow coalition, the international community were forthcoming. They were very, very willing to work with the Barrow government. I want you to give me time and you listen to me very attentively because we need to have a very serious and honest conversation with the public. We cannot just be saying things without basis. Now, we all want reforms. Security sector reform, economic reform, civil service reform, human. We want all of this. Even you, all the time, you talk about reforms. Now, what happened? One of the conditions that the international partners, United Nations, European Union, ECOWAS, place on us is your security sector is overpopulated, it's oversized. You need to reform it. And one of the conditions of reform is cut it into half. So we cannot just cut it because that will create chaos. Yes. What do? They say now we are placing moratorium on appointment or recruitment of police, armed forces, prison. You will wait for me even if the time is more because I need to finish this. Yes. Now what happened? Since 2017, usually Gambia Armed Forces will recruit at least 1,000 Gambians, young people. At least 1,000 young people every recruitment, every year. So this is the 5th year of Barrow's term in office. That is like 5,000 Gambians have lost a job. The police will hire at least 700 people. Let's say 700. This is the 5th year. Yes. 3,500 other young people lose their jobs. Yes. The intelligence, the prisons, the immigration, all of this, the customs, all of these need to, hire. And the other issue is, every year we have at least 10,000 Gambians that graduate from high school. 5,000 at least will go to university and other tertiary institutions. Most of those that do not have the requirement to go to university will join the security services. And you will hardly see these people in army, police committing crimes because they are disciplined and they are getting income. Now that problem is on us. That pressure is on the country because we cannot employ people. Corona came. The second highest institution that employs or sector that employs youth in this country is tourism. almost 500,000 young people are directly or indirectly benefiting from the tourism sector. You are either employed directly or indirectly by the tourism sector. When Corona came, tourists are not coming. That's not Barrow's fault. Almost 500,000 Gambians, some are housekeepers, some are bumpsters, some are tourist taxi drivers, some are tour guides, some are cleaners, some are dock workers, you know, tourists all wulo samba. Some are boyfriend and girlfriends, they go bomb, some they carve the wood, you really soge. Dol fanka gardening neke, yetela o domorol samba, ilo mente only fengol, ya waf hotel also. All these things have stopped completely. Almost 500,000 Gambians, young people, lost their jobs now. Plus the number of people that were supposed to be employed by the security institutions. What do we have? This is not the stupidity or laziness of a government. Their hands are tied from behind by a natural, disaster and a condition that we cannot move out from, because that is what, the international community, our partners. No, wait. I will finish.
What competent governments are doing elsewhere.
Which competent governments? Which competent governments? In Canada, I think you would not say competent. Usually our unemployment rate is 4%, 5%. We are almost at 14%. What have they done? People have lost their jobs. They cannot. Companies have closed. Yes, you know why they are taking care of their citizens?
Not doing that.
That is very simple.
Your government is not
Let
doing
me
that.
finish that. That's very simple. And that is why.
Them checks
Let me finish. That is a simple
money.
discussion.
Yes.
That is simple. In Canada, when Canada needs money, they print it. They have machines to print the money. They say, let's fucking raise the debt ceiling and print money. When United States need money, they don't go and beg European Union. They go and print it and raise the debt ceiling. We cannot. It's as simple as that.
You cannot print your money.
Give a machine and Barrow will print a lot of money and we give it to citizens. So all these are simple things that people just forget about and put all these things on the head of the president. We are doing so much. Even with all these problems, we would say almost 600,000 young people, because of this moratorium on employment in the security sector and this COVID-19. All these pressures are on us. You said too that we have not given money to our people, and that is a blatant lie, Uncle. I don't want to say lie.
Well,
a lot of bags of rice were bought. That is how much we can afford. We bought hundreds of thousands of bags of rice and distributed it. And even the media houses.
But how far did that go in assuaging the pain of Gambians?
You see, in the United States, they have given, 2 checks. Yes. One was 1,200. The last one I don't know. Under Trump, it was 1. Fine. Under Joe Biden, they sent another one. Yes. Did that stop hundreds of thousands of Americans from being homeless? It sent millions out of their homes. Any sensible person that lives in the United States and is genuine will tell you that hundreds of thousands of Americans lost their jobs. They were sent out of their homes because they cannot pay their mortgages. They also have to turn to food banks, charities, to even be able to feed their families. The same thing happened in Canada, even though Canada's case was much better. So this is not just exclusive to Gambia or just particular to Gambia. So to answer the question of my brother, security will be a problem when people do not have. And when a government is also not strong enough economically. You know the situation of this country. It's like a family man who does not have enough to cater for the family. Gambia is a developing country and it's a poor country. We cannot provide all that our citizens need, not what they want, but what they need. So we need to understand Barrow is doing so well. Because if it's in other countries, sometimes you will even have a war. It will be much worse. But we are managing this in a very, very fragile way. Youth want to work. Conditions have pushed us in a way that we cannot handle it. We cannot give them jobs. We are managing them. And it's being relatively very peaceful. Yes. Because in Nigeria, it's worse. A lot more people have turned to robbers. The number of killings in Nigeria is terrible. It has increased because of this coronavirus. So, uncle, let's forget about politics when it comes to some of these things and help each other. And the other problem we have about security is the false alarm making that I just mentioned about Keksane's case. Because you have some of those people that would say, oh, they robbed me my iPhone
Here you go
12
again.
Pro.
These
Some
are
of
just
them are not true.
isolated cases. These are isolated cases. But thank you very much. We've run out of time. I mean, I hope to host you some other time, my nephew. Thank you very much.
To Saria Maro, my great big brother. We are brothers. We've had a lot of discussions. If I say something that is not so okay, I'm sorry. But on the case of Dabo, those are my views, and I'll handle them.
And you will double down on them.
In fact, I'll triple down or quadruple down on them. Thank you so much to viewers. I'm so happy for being invited.
Thank you for coming again. Before we go, we are starting a project. We are launching a project to sensitize the members of the public, that's the Gambians, on the issue of voter registration, the need for why, the importance of registering. This is a very important process. I mean, people sit at their corners, say whatever they want to say, vent, express their frustrations. But this is really your chance to register, to decide, to have a say on who you really want to run the affairs of state come December. And so this is the reason why we came up with this project, to sensitize Gambians on the need for them to go out there and register. More in this.
Voter registration for the forthcoming presidential elections commenced on Saturday, May 29th, 2021. According to current statistics we obtained from the Ministry of Youth and Sports, the youth make up about 60% of the Gambia's population.
Regarding the age bracket for what is meant by youth is between the age of 15 to 35. This is in line with the AU Charter, Youth Charter, of which the Gambia is signatory. So, as per the youth policy of 2019 to 2028, we are defining youth to fall between the ages of 15 to 35. And a greater percentage of the Gambia's population, as per the 2013 census, put the youth folk at between 60 and 67, 65, 68%.
Gambian citizens over the age of 18 are considered eligible to vote during presidential elections, and this year, the FATU Network is launching a project geared towards playing our part as one of the country's leading media institutions in sensitizing the youth, emphasis on those likely to be reluctant to ensure registration during the registration program, and voting come December.
What I'll urge them is to go out and register in their large numbers. One, not to disenfranchise themselves, and two, to fulfill their civic obligations as youth folk, because they are expected, they are tomorrow's leaders. So, and as such, they are to participate fully well to ensure that sustainability, is the key at the end of the day, so that at the end of the day, they will participate meaningfully in the current dispensation as well as dispensations yet to come.
We hope to execute this by getting as many young influencers as possible, ranging from artists to politicians, entrepreneurs, NGOs, and students alike, to verbally urge all Gambians, especially the youth, to get registered and vote. The FATU Network wishes to state to all Gambians that this report has no political affiliation attached to it whatsoever. We are not urging citizens to vote for any one political party. We instead wish to raise awareness on voter registration and voting come December. Every single eligible individual is free to vote for any party of their choice. Reporting for the FATU Network, I am Mudi Wangam.
Very well. That will be that for the show today, the news show today. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, I'm Labin Jai. Thank you.